what people don't know is I was so hopeless. I was like,
oh, that breaks my heart.
Like, I feel like the good part is over. And that was
like you're a has-been.
I was a has-been. The good part is over. I'm never going to feel good again. I don't know how to get that back. Like, it can make me cry because I know people feel this way right now. I know women are staring 40 in the face, or they're at 40, or they're staring 50 in the face, or they're staring 30 in the face.
Yeah.
And they have full belief that their best days are past them. For the first time in my life, I don't think about it at all.
Welcome, everybody, to the Chris Harder Show, where we are making you unapologetic about your pursuit of success, knowing that when good people like you make good money, they can then do great things. My name is Chris Harder, and several times per week, I will bring you epic guests, solo episodes, and every single tool, trick, and skill set you need to grow your business, grow your money mindset, and to grow your wealth to levels that you have never reached before. I've ended up in a unique place in life where I've got the experience, the connections, and all of the secrets that it takes to be successful. And I'm lifting the curtain to reveal it all to you in an effort to help put you in a position of abundance so great that you can then be as generous as possible. So let's lock arms and let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chris Harder Show, where today I've got a really cool treat for you. I'm actually resharing an episode that was just filmed between my wife, Lori Harder, and our new business partner in our new peptide company that we acquired part of, Stephanie Gambetta. And I wanted to share this episode with you because peptides have become such an important part of our life. And this is actually a two-part series. So this is part one. Part two is going to come out next week. But in part one, Lori, who's in her 40s, and Stephanie, who just hit 50, talk about why they're so excited for what's ahead of them and why they have more energy than ever and more hope than ever. And they're having just a better time than ever and able to navigate some of life's challenges better than ever, not just because of peptides, although they play a really big role, but also because of their outlook. And it was such an inspiring episode that I knew every single one of you could take something out of it and feel better about your tomorrow than you do today simply by listening. And the reason why we decided to acquire part of a peptide company is because it changed my life. It saved my brain. Many of you know I had a stroke a year and a half ago, and it wreaked havoc on my brain, and it wreaked havoc on my cognitive ability, my cognitive functions, my ability to recall, my ability to think fast and finish sentences. It wreaked havoc on my emotions. And it wasn't until I found the right mix of peptides that I not only got my brain back, but I am better than pre-stroke. And I say that only because if you're struggling with anything, I also used them for recovery from my surgery when I tore my bicep and my shoulder. If you guys are struggling with anything like that, listen to this episode. Lori will let you know where to get some advice on what we use towards the end of it. And even if you are not a peptide user, there's enough in this episode for you to just feel great about your tomorrow, even better than you do right now. So thought I'd share it. Let me know what you think. This is part one. Part two will come out next week.
All right, you guys, I am so excited for today's episode because it is full of surprises for you guys. And you're going to love what's going to come out of this and also what's going to come out of this in the future. When I met you, they're like, okay, well, you have to meet Stephanie. She is the founder of something called Loop. And Loop is essentially a peptide education company. And I was like, I love peptides, say less. Like, I'm going to just be able to absolutely like go down a rabbit hole with her just about that.
Yeah.
Period. And so it's something I haven't talked about a ton, but I'm going to be, obviously. But also because I've been on them for 4 years, maybe more now, which is crazy to me. But
you're
I
early
have a
adapter.
long journey with them. Like, I have, being on them for 4 years, I've experienced a lot. I've seen a lot. I've felt a lot. I've tweaked a lot. I've figured out a lot. And it really wasn't until I met you that I've never felt more dialed in or looked better in my body, and now especially like in my skin, in my entire life.
And it shows.
I feel so good. And I've never had more of a life, meaning I've never gotten to do more, like feel like I don't have to think about everything that I'm doing and eating, and, you know, I'm sleeping like better, minus some of the stress. But like for the most part, it is absolutely mind-blowing what like we're capable of doing with
And the freedom you
peptides
get.
and the freedom
I
and
know.
the freedom. Like,
I think the freedom is really interesting, and I'll dive into my company in a second. But I think what just in life as a woman, I think I want to talk
Mhm.
about this is like, oftentimes people like us who are obsessive or type A or how we want to put us, it's like, if something works, then I want to do it on overload. Like
Yeah.
it's like a little isn't okay. I want to do this all the time.
Yeah.
Like I was a runner in college, and so like then I ran marathons, and like when are
Absolutely.
you going to stop?
We're the same.
And so there was a lot of my life that was obsessive in the wrong way. Obsessive about my body, obsessive like I wasn't either fit enough or skinny, and it was never enough. And so the obsession was like trying to like, how do I feel enough? And usually it had to do around how I looked. And that was the sad part. It's like usually the thing with women, oftentimes it's like how we look is what we become obsessed with, or obsessed with the process to look a certain way, which might not just come naturally, right? So like you don't want to go on dates with your husband or your boyfriend, or you don't want to go on a trip, or you get very boxed in and your life becomes very rigid and very small.
So rigid.
And I think the being rigid is what I don't miss. And so I think I'm just going to lead it into my story of how I started Loop and what Loop is, because I had to surrender.
Mhm.
And long with the short is I tore my ACL, my ACL and my meniscus skiing in Aspen.
Mm.
And I look at it as God came down, and the whole thing that everything happens for you and not to you really came into play with my story. And I had been abusing exercise, I'd say, to get through my divorce. Some people drink too much. Some people have multiple partners. Some people do drugs, whatever it is, or escapism. I was just going to run and beat myself up and do cardio and I wanted to numb, right? So I didn't feel the pain of like what was happening in my divorce, in the transition with my children. And so kind of what the obsession is like more was more. And what was happening is getting more inflamed and more inflamed. And my body was getting more tired, and my cortisol was super high, and all my antioxidant levels were through the. I was a mess. I was a hot mess, and I felt it. I felt so uncomfortable in my body. I felt like I was a pincushion of like inflammation, but I didn't know. I didn't have tools. I didn't know what to do, so I just kept running more, thinking like, well, that used to work. Why am I bigger now and not happier, not fitting my clothes? So, long story short, my body was really tired, and I went skiing one day with my boyfriend, and it was like day 10 of skiing. And I remember going down this run, and I said to him, I said, I got to be careful. I'm really tired. I never say that. I mean, I push through. That's what you do. I don't listen. I'm obsessed. I just push through it. And I'm going to just ski. It was a beautiful powdered day, bluebird day. My parents were going to meet them later and go to Cloud 9. It was be a day. So I say this to him, and then we go up the chairlift, and I picture myself in a knee brace, like really hurting my knee.
Oh God.
Like no joke. Picture it. And I thought, that's weird. I have a little of that woo where I can picture things and it happens. But get to the top, and my boyfriend goes, let's go down this big powdered, ungroomed run. I really should have said no because I'm tired. But instead I look at him, I said, okay, but stay close to me. I've never said that. We ski like, and he's faster than me, and I meet him at the bottom. Stay close to me. That's weird. Halfway down the mountain, I literally don't even fall. I go to go left, and because the powder was so deep, my knee just went out in, but it was a big out. So I said, fuck. And he looks at me, and I said, I don't know why. I just did something really bad, like really bad.
Oh,
and I just had pictured this.
Yep.
So anyway, I try to turn. I can't. He goes get ski patrol. I'm the girl who goes down the toboggan, and I'm going down this toboggan, and it was like hard to get me in because the powder was so deep. And it was so weird, Lori. I surrendered in 2 seconds. It's almost like I was like, thank God I have to stop.
Wow.
Thank God I have to stop the crazy, because I knew whatever I did wasn't mellow. And we went into Aspen Town and got checked out. And they can, when you tear your ACL, they can do a couple things really quickly that like, oh, you tore it. And I got a little emotional. And then I go, because I knew an ACL is a big recovery. And then I was like, okay, it is what it is. And I put this knee brace on, and I was a peg leg. And fast forward, I had to go and do all the testing back in Newport. And then they find out that I actually tore my meniscus. What that means is when you tear your meniscus with your ACL, you're on crutches for a month. So usually when you tear your ACL, you're on crutches for 2 days, and then your peg leg. But like crutches for a month, for anyone who doesn't know, is horrific. And especially for somebody who is using exercise as a really big crutch in their life.
Yep.
And now, not only could I not exercise, I couldn't even walk. I was on one leg. And so I really had to go through the process of like, what is my life going to look like? How am I going to recover? I'm a single mom. I would go up and down the stairs like a slug, and down. And I kind of like anything, like I figured out who's the best person that's going to get me out of this. Like how am I going to rehab? And I decided I was going to rehab like an athlete. And I found one of the best physical therapists, and he got me in the pool 2 days later, and the pool began to heal me. And I cried more, and they were not tears of like sadness or feeling sorry for my ties. They were tears of joy because I finally wasn't numbing myself. And so I was feeling. So I remember seeing a rainbow one day driving in the car, and I'm just crying. I don't cry very often. And it was this beautiful reset. And I almost like had to hit rock bottom, let's say, or I had to have God take a sledgehammer to my knee to really come back to my body and who I was and what I was going to feel like. And so because I was obsessed with my healing, I thought, okay, well, what else is going to heal me the fastest? And I'm one of those girlies where it's like, I am a little obsessed with like outside of the box. I had long-term COVID. So I was the girl who went to Guadalajara and got stem cells to help my long-term COVID. So I was always a little out there, but I'd heard about these things called peptides. And I thought, well, if I'm on a path to healing as fast as I can, then I want to figure out if these peptides can help me. And so I had a friend who knew a lot about them. And he basically said, BBC 157 and TB 500, the Wolverine stack. If you want to heal fast, we'll heal you. And so I started those peptides, and all of a sudden, Lori, all the inflammation was leaving my body. Like just like pockets and things, the wobbly parts that I didn't like was just leaving. And I had this like sense of just like peace over me. And I said, what are these things? And at this point, no one was talking about it. It was like the gym bros, maybe. It was like the weird biohackers. Like no one on social media, like no influencer was talking about it. So I was in some weird podcasts and just trying to figure out as much. And I thought, why is no one talking about these things? And then I thought, well, maybe I should start an education company on peptides and not only educate myself, but hire people who are much smarter than me, doctors and nurses who've been doing this for a long time, and build a company based on education. And the rest is history. And it took off very fast. I got very lucky, and that's when everything happens for you. I got to enter the peptide space riding the wave, where if I had started probably 2 months later, I would not have the opportunities that I had. And I have been building the plane in the air very quickly. And thank God my boyfriend is an amazing entrepreneur. And he teases me that he's the Wolf of Wall Street and I want to save the whales, literally. And so
it's a good combo.
Yes. So we started Loop, and I'm still figuring out as we go, but I do believe I've got something very special, and it feels really good in my soul to help people. And that is really who I am.
Yeah.
I don't gatekeep. Like I'm like, every single woman needs to be on peptides. Every man needs to be on peptides. I mean, I say it from the rafters, like they need to be educated and smart, but so that's kind of.
And you're being humble. Your company's insane.
Oh, you're
and it's incredible. And so many people, it's like, I can't believe the sheer number of customers and people that you have and education that you've given, and people who had been on peptides before, who they weren't necessarily working for or had a bad experience. Like the amount of incredible feedback that I hear about when they experience your company, it's just, you're not even playing in the same like arena. You're not even playing in the same arena. So it's legitimately like a game changer. And I'll kind of talk about where I was when I had met you. I'd already been on different peptides, telehealth peptides. I've been on all different types of peptides. Started with, I'd done NAD, BPC, different GLPs, 3 different GLPs. And while they were like immensely helpful, like I can't even tell you how helpful they were. I'll tell my initial beginning story in a minute. But when I met you, I was at one of the most stressed points of my life. There's been a few in running your own company and, having investors and all of the things that can come with running multiple companies. I have multiple companies that we're doing, between Chris and I, we have our hands in like 4 different things that feel all like full-time jobs. And at that point, I was just like, I don't feel like I'm operating well right now. Like I'm not handling my stress well. I feel like even though I'm on a GLP, I feel like I'm getting inflamed again. I just don't feel great. Like at one point when you first get on, you can feel really great. And I was like,
you
I'm just not
plateaued.
feeling.
I think you
can kind of plateau.
You felt stuck.
I felt stuck. And so when I was chatting with you, you're like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what that can be. Like, let's get this all looked into. I do blood work. I do all the things with it. Like, let's get you super dialed in. And I think number one, your knowledge and your hope that you give to people between the education platform, the coaches, the doctors, all of the things, your peptides. Like, I think people first, when they come into the platform, it's like, oh, even if something's not working or I feel stuck, this is going to work for me because Stephanie really talks about all of the different reasons why it's not. And you don't get to hear these things. So the first thing that I really, really learned is there's such a massive lack around education around peptides. Like I thought I knew a decent amount,
right?
But I didn't fully understand what it could look like when you get your brain dialed in, your body dialed in, your skin dialed in, like literally mind blown what is possible with these. And so it's just like, for me, I understood what I was about to encounter with you or I had hope around it because I'm from the fitness world. I totally get that. You know, I meet people who they've been working out forever. I learn about their workout and I'm like, oh, no, you're not losing. You're only doing HIIT training.
Yeah.
This is why this is happening, or this is what's going on, or here's what you need to be doing, or here's how we need to like mix this up. So not everything is a one size fits all at all for people, like at all, and for different points in your life. Like there's sometimes in your life you should be doing one thing and sometimes in your life you should be doing another thing. So my origination story happened because a lot of people don't fully know the story. If you listen to the podcast, you might know part of it. But Chris and I had started trying to have kids around, I was like 37. I'm 45 right now. So 37 naturally. And I was convinced I was literally going to get pregnant the second we started trying. Like I've spent my whole life trying not to get pregnant.
Yeah.
And so I was like, no, I was certain. And I'm very, you know, I'm especially back then, I was insanely woo-woo.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm just clear. I know it's going to happen. This is exactly what's coming. I've already seen my baby's face. Like that's how certain and solid I was. And so you can imagine, to my surprise, after 3 years of literally trying and not getting pregnant, that it was like devastating. And there are things in that journey that, you know, I am such an open book in so many areas. But that particular journey at the time felt like it needed to be protected. So I wasn't talking about it with people either, because I will tell you, like, even when you mention this online, you don't often get a lot of hopeful people. You get a lot of really sad, negative stories back to you.
And the shame behind why am I not good enough, or whatever story you're telling yourself.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I'm not going to share this publicly because I see so much. Unfortunately, there's just so many negative stories online. And I'm not saying they're trying to be negative. I just didn't want to read about other people not having success over and over, because it's very easy to go, that's happening to you. It's happening to me too. It's so hard.
And then that's your story.
And then I didn't want it's so hard to be a part of my story. So I really tried to stay in the positivity, asking girlfriends who had had a lot of success. And so, you know, we ended up at, I think I started at 40, I believe 40. Yeah. We did which, by the way, my company was like kind of struggling at that point.
Yeah.
Like we were doing a bunch of pivots and really trying to figure things out. And I ended up doing two different rounds of IVF, and I was super hopeful. I was like, okay, well, this is going to work, because this is like, now we're getting doctors and science involved, and I'm going to try to do all these things.
And you're like, I wasn't a healthy person. There's just no reason why this wouldn't work.
Absolutely. I was like, I'm so healthy. This should work. And so, long story short, 2 rounds did not work. We weren't making any viable eggs together. And so even though we were getting able to get eggs, we were not making viable eggs. So
when you got them, you couldn't make an embryo. Is that kind of what I don't like?
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. Eggs. We weren't making viable embryos.
Okay.
So none of them were. They were like, we can't implant any of these because they're not healthy.
Yeah.
And so that was like obviously super downer. And the doctor was like, hey, we can continue on. There's obviously no guarantee. The more that you do it, obviously it's more hopeful, but you're getting older. And do you want to look at any other routes? Well, I was just getting my ass handed to me in my business at the time. And so I was like, I just want to take a break. And I felt really stressed out. I had put on about probably 15 to 17 pounds from
all the hormones,
IVF, all the hormones that I wasn't able to get off. Like I just had hit this point of none of my clothes fit. I wasn't like, I was sort of online posting. I was still doing my podcast, but I was like, I didn't want to go online, and I'm front facing, you guys. I'm a speaker. I'm front facing.
How did that feel? Like you almost felt like you had to hide, or you're embarrassed, or like, I mean, because you're not sharing a story, and you're like, I'm 15 to 17 pounds heavier.
I just felt like
Can't
people
imagine.
were missing context. And I don't know if anybody necessarily noticed. I was really good at wearing like big sweaters and stuff and big boho hats at the time. But I noticed. I
of
felt
course.
awful. And I'm sure I guess actually I'm sure other people noticed, but I was just like, okay, I have to be front facing. Like it's in my DNA. It's
Yeah.
my personality. And
It's probably your human design.
it's literally my human design.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need help. And I didn't know what that looked like. And literal, I was just like in full surrender and I didn't even know what to do. I'm like, I need a break. I need help. I need to figure this out. I need to get my health back on track because it was so far off from just hormones and stress and all the things that one day, so random, my spray tan girl comes and she lost like 30 pounds. And I've only seen her, it was only like a couple months ago that I saw her. And she was really struggling with her weight. And I was like, what in the hell are you doing? Because I'm like feeling desperate, And she's like, oh, I started a peptide. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? And she's
You're like,
oh,
what's a peptide? Like,
yeah. She's like, I started a GLP and it's great for inflammation. I've never felt better. Like, I feel incredible. Oh my gosh. Like all of these positive reviews. And I was like, say less, give me your person.
yeah.
And my first experience was like, I really didn't even, it was kind of like just a fast 15-minute phone call. Tell me about yourself. What are your goals? Essentially, I was off to the rodeo at that point without even
With no real direction except for
no
like,
real direction.
go on the starting dose, which is cute. Yeah.
My starting dose was so high that I was miserable. I was like, oh my God, I felt awful. I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I couldn't get out of bed one day and I had just started
a real
way
thing.
too high. Like I felt horrible. I was nauseous. I felt like I was going to throw up. I was like, who does this? Like, I don't even know if this is
Because you're
worth
like, I can't have a
staying
life.
on.
You're like, I might be getting skinny, but I'm at what
You
cost?
can't bring your skinny body
Yeah.
out because you're under the blankets and you're throwing up. So no, I was like, this is going to be a no for me, dog. If this is like how
of
it's
course.
going to be.
Chris is probably like, what happened to my wife?
Exactly. And so I was like, okay, I'm motivated. Let me just ask her she gave me the whatever answer she could at the time. And I was like, for me, I was like, I just went lower. And so I went a lot lower. I went a lot slower after that, but I still wasn't feeling great. Went lower and slower, got some great results. And then all of a sudden I just started feeling good. It's like I found my sweet spot on my own because I'm a dabbler.
Right.
Now, if I hadn't been, like majority
quit,
of my
probably.
friends who I know had done this had quit. And so if I hadn't been, I know I would have quit and I would have missed what is now like the greatest gift that's ever been given to me. Because just like you, Stephanie, I was beating my body up so hard. You guys, a lot of if you have followed me or this podcast, like I have a fitness background and I ran myself into the ground physically. And it was how I coped with stress. It was how I coped with everything. And when I got into my 40s, it just wasn't working anymore.
Which is such a common story with all my clients.
I couldn't run it off. I was feeling more and more depressed. I couldn't find the motivation for it anymore. I couldn't nice coach myself. I couldn't mean coach myself. I just couldn't get myself to do what I thought I needed to do, which was, I guess, run more because I'm getting older. Well, my knees were going bad. My joints were killing me. Like literally.
And you're probably getting more inflamed as you were going.
It was so bad. My knees were getting so bad, like getting up and down off the toilet. Literally, I'm like pushing myself off. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to like literally
like,
get
40,
up.
like how the hell? Yeah.
And I wasn't telling anyone because then I was ashamed that people were like, well, it's because you beat yourself up.
Yeah.
And so I think the shame goes pretty deep, you guys, because the ways that we cope, especially if you are like a fitness person, it's like people are either drinking or they're working out or they're smoking or
it's an obsession
or they're having multiple partners or whatever they're doing. And for me, mine was, physical fitness. And so what this GLP gave me was like I got to heal my body and my knees got to have a break. And like, as soon as I started learning about other peptides as well, it was like, I can really potentially help reverse what I've done.
Yeah.
To
Absolutely.
myself and have a better second half of my life than even the first. Because what people don't know is I was so fucking hopeless. I was like,
that breaks my heart.
like I feel like the good part is over. And that was
like you're a has-been.
I was a has-been. The good part is over. I'm never going to feel good again. I don't know how to get that back. Like it can make me cry because I know people feel this way right now. I know women are staring 40 in the face or they're at 40 or they're staring 50 in the face or they're staring 30 in the face.
Yeah.
And they have full belief that their best days are past them.
Right. Like I used to be hot or I used to have energy. All the used to things, right? But
Yes.
Laura, I think your story though is so common.
Mhm.
And I think what's interesting too, when you are a fitness girly, or, you are someone that works out, or you're just someone who is naturally beautiful, if you say you don't feel good, like I feel fat,
Mhm.
probably everyone look at you and go, you're crazy.
Yep.
You're like, what? So it's almost like now you can't tell anyone how you feel. You're keeping it in because compared to somebody else, you probably look great, but you are miserable in your own body.
Right.
Right. And that's like, how will I ever escape this? Like, this is my future. Like, that's a horrible trapped feeling that so many women who come to me are feeling.
And I think, the thing is, it wasn't about the 15 to 17 pounds. It was about, it felt like I couldn't stop that. It felt like it was just going to keep
Out of
going
control.
and going
Out of control,
and going.
right?
I was like, this is just the beginning, is going to keep going because I'm just
And
losing
I think
myself.
the messed up piece for us, and men and women, especially women who are in, perimenopause, anywhere I'd say from like late 30s into plus, right? Is that what used to work wasn't working. And so then you don't have the tool set, right? Because you're like, well, this worked. Now it's not working. So there's like a lack of trust in your body.
Totally.
Like you don't even know what you're doing. Eat less, and you're eating less and less and less. Right?
Feeling
And so
worse
then
and worse and worse.
And then your body's getting so metabolically unsound, and you're exercising more and more and more. So your cortisol is going up. Like we're seeing this pendulum go like this, and you're going like, God, but if I stop this, imagine how I'm going to be, or how I'm going to look, or any of it. So you're terrified too. I think there's a terrifying piece and a fear of just like the unknown.
Totally. Then that's how I felt. So now fast forward back to where we are now and meeting you. And, when I had met you, I think that number one, it was still working completely. I was like, okay, we're still working, but I feel like I could absolutely be more on my game mentally. I was feeling a little stressed. I was feeling like I wanted to sleep better. I was feeling like my GLP was maybe not working the way that it used to. And I just wanted to feel the way that your energy was like literally just completely emerging from you. I have no other way to say it than sometimes we get around people and I'm like, that, of course you look insane and you're 51. And I was like, okay, if that's happening at 51, it was even more so for me about the energy exuding from you. And I'm like, what are you on? What are you doing? I'm a huge optimizer. Tell me, I came out of the womb wanting to be like, as soon as I got away from my family, who they're amazing. But at the same time, I was like, they don't get it or know what's going on. How can I maximize everything from my health and my life? So when I met you and you're like, oh, I can absolutely help you get to exactly where you want to be. Like, I know where you want to be. Let's do it.
When I was like screaming it from the rafters, because I felt like if I feel this way, I want every single woman or man to feel this way. And I think that's when I launched my company. It was just like, I went from private to public and was like, hi, here I am. I'm going to be the crazy person to tell you that you can actually feel amazing and the best you've ever felt. And I got really confident. But what was interesting, it started off as like imposter syndrome. Yeah. Right? Because I'm like, I'm not a doctor. Who am I? No one was talking about it online. Thank God at the time. But like the imposter syndrome, what I've learned, which is really interesting in this process, and I think you've probably gone through this in your life too, is I got really educated. And then I also just immersed myself in it. And I realized that, I was a health coach. I was into nutrition. I'm a coach at the end of the day. Yeah. I'm not pretending that I'm a doctor. But what's fascinating about peptides is most doctors have no idea about peptides. So it kind of opened this gate to be like, figure out what you're really good at, which is connecting with women and men, not gatekeeping, sharing, get educated, bring people around you. And then, the energy is contagious because like, that's how I feel. Right. And you're authentic about it. And I think that's how you all of a sudden were like, oh my, and you trusted me. Yeah. I think a big piece of the peptide world is also trust, of being like, okay, this woman can hold me, can walk me through this. And really, because it is, we went back and forth. And you can tell a little about your story. I'm like, Lori, trust me, because it takes to do it right. And our philosophy at Loop Away is like low and slow. Like you've got to trust this process. Yeah.
I think I called you at week 6. I'm like, this isn't working. Yeah. Like what's going on? This isn't working. You're like, please trust me. And then for me, I took longer. Like I feel like I took longer than most people. And I was like, I don't know if it was week 10 or 12 for me, but then literally overnight, I was like, oh my God, I feel amazing. I look amazing. I've never felt this good or looked this good. And so,
well, all of a sudden I saw you, I'm like, holy abs and popping. And
yeah.
what I think people don't realize just in general in peptides,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to get way more into it at a different time, but I think this is just a good premise of like understanding the world of peptides is that obviously they're naturally occurring in our bodies. I mean, we already have peptides. But when you are actually injecting a peptide that hits a certain receptor, you're giving your body more of what it needs, but your body also has to adapt to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, yes, if you are on too much, you get tired or your dopamine drops. There's so many things, side effects that come that if you don't understand it and why there's a need to be patient and go low and slow. Because like I tell people, it's like AI and peptides is the future.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no reason to rush into any of it because it's a privilege. It's a tool and you don't want to abuse it.
Yeah, that is one huge thing that we're really going to talk about, which you guys, this is a series. I started this podcast with this is a series because right now, if you are like, oh my God, I need to know everything, we will tell you everything along with our experiences, the great, the bad, all of the things, because we are like literally testing all of it on ourselves right now. And I've had all of those experiences. I've had it where my dopamine is really low. I've had it where I'm like, oh gosh, am I depressed? Like what's going on?
Very
or
common.
Like this is, I'm so exhausted. And then you can feel like you're grappling with, do I have to feel this way in order to like get the results that I want? And the answer is no. And the answer is keep educating, keep listening. And I think, the thing with you were talking about like, okay, I'm not a doctor. Yes. I want to look at, what I want to say about that is people, in this world, you've surrounded yourself with some of the smartest people. You have some of the most incredible doctors around you, but you've also gotten so insanely educated, like so educated. I don't know if I know somebody who's gone to more conferences, listens to more podcasts, like understands blood work more. Like you are so I would put you up against the best of them out there in the podcast world, the peptide world, all of the things, because this is your life and you are interested. And it is like you are doing all of this on yourself and you are a true optimizer, health coach.
And I really am obsessed with it. I live it and breathe it. And I feel like what is really important to know too is that like, because I work with so many clients and we have big groups of women working together and what we're creating is that you hear a lot of the stories. So you start to understand. But at the end of the day, you're really coaching somebody. I mean, you're coaching them about their lifestyle. You're coaching them. You listen to them. Their goals. There's so many things that go into play with these peptides. It's not just go into a doctor's office, check off 3 boxes, and walk out with a GLP. Like if you think that's how GLPs work, like you are going to have a tough road. And or you may be listening to this and say, "That's me." Like, and by the way, you're not alone. There's no shame in it. It's not your fault. And I just think there's so much that has been learned. And that's what's fun about peptides is that like we literally are doing the largest human studies right now on each other. And it's not a one size fits all. So what works for you and your stack, Lori, possibly couldn't work at all for me.
Right.
Or how we go about it or what we're working on outside of that. Right. And working mentally, like how do you trust your body again? There's a mental component too, especially as you're going through it and you're frustrated. You may be feeling depressed. You might not feel like it's working. Why are you the outlier? I mean, there's so many different feelings that come around it because a lot of people think it's this like easy, quick fix. It's not.
No, it's not. And you have to have a lot of patience. And the other thing that, we're going to deep dive on that we can talk about now is the fact that it's a tool.
It's only a tool.
Like there are people who are on the same exact peptides, the same exact dose as you, and they don't have the same energy and they don't look like you. And you are somebody who works out. You're someone who does the work. You're someone who goes to bed early. You are somebody who eats well, who drinks water, who does mindset work.
Yeah.
Like there are so many things that you still need to do in order to, AKA, we're just going to talk about dialed in because that is like my favorite thing on earth. Like how dialed in can you get? And you are dialed in because you do all of those things. And that's something that really, really like for me, I'm like, if I'm going to be spending money on this, I want to get the best. Like I want the best results.
Right.
And so with you and with Loop, and you guys, Loop is set up so awesome because it truly is better education. You have a better community to tap into, which gives you a better result. Like that's 100% what this is for me.
And I think what's really important in this like world of like 10-step morning routines and like, I want to, habits stack. And I think we're all getting a little tired of this like
So fatigued.
excessiveness. And I think a lot of what I also coach is that like, this is a tool that's actually going to also give you a lot of freedom and you're going to trust your body again. And like less is more.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of unlearning that goes in and then relearning, right? Like, I mean, people probably don't like to hear this, but like, I'm not 80-20 in terms of how I eat or how I live my life. I'm consistent. And I think it's really important to know the difference is that I'm consistent. I show up for myself and it might look different every single day, right? But I do practice what I preach, but I also love to live my life.
Same.
And I think at 51 too is like, and what I've been through, like life is way too short to live a rigid life. And that's what I love about peptides. Like done the right way, they're an amazing tool that also gives you permission to like, go have fun. Like whatever fun looks like to you, you know?
I love getting a steak and cocktails.
Yes, we love that
It's like
together.
what we do.
I think people are shocked sometimes when they go out to dinner with me and they're like, oh my God, is that what you're eating or you eat a lot? But they also see like, I'm also a creature of habit. Like all the other things that I do oftentimes, like I eat a lot of the same foods. Like
Same.
I am, you know, when you are in my house every day, it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
I like it that way. I like a routine. I like some structure, but I also like to sometimes be like, fuck it. Let's go have some fun. Like I kind of talk about this, like when I'm in Newport, I split my time between Dallas and Newport. My life's pretty crazy. And we have 6 kids between my partner and I.
Yeah.
So if I'm the outside, someone looks at me and I do say, if I can do this,
Exactly. No, you guys,
you
it's
have
real.
no excuse.
Like
guys.
I thought I was busy. I'm like, oh, I might have met my match.
Yeah.
For sure. The 6 kids just kind of topple that over.
And you have no excuse. And I sometimes get, you know, pushback online that I drink alcohol sometimes, but I'm like, for me, like living balanced is living really happy. And happy is where you're healthy and you're energized. And like, you doesn't have to look. I mean, sometimes I literally, for myself, even like I get in my DEXA scanner, I look in the mirror and I'm like, it is crazy that I have a body composition that I've always dreamed of and a life I've always dreamed of.
Same.
Versus like
Same. No, I didn't think it was
living in
possible.
a box, right? And I went through a time which was more kind of recently where like I come back to Newport. In Newport, I have my girls here and I'm pretty routine here, right? Dallas, I'm a little out of my routine. Here, I'm pretty routine. I learned though, and I call it hibernating. If I hibernate more than 4 days, it's no bueno. It's not good. It's almost too much of routine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to see a girlfriend.
Yeah.
I need to go for a cocktail or I need to go for a big hike outside with other people. And
we're the same person.
right. And you're like,
We really
I
are.
would think because you I can fall into a place where I was in my life. And one day we'll talk about it too, is where you are too rigid.
100%.
And
I
you
have
think
stories
that's
about
what you
it.
need to do
Yeah.
to have a certain look or body or feel good. I have to be rigid.
Yep.
And now I've realized like that
Rigidity.
that
Yeah.
rigidity does not serve me.
No.
So now routine is one thing, being consistent, but you have to have flexibility in between. And it's such a gift, but it comes back to trust, trusting your body again. You know, I deal with a lot of women too, who are like me, recovering cardio addicts. And I said, do you trust me? And they look at me like, oh my God, you are taking away my biggest crutch, my fear. Like I'm going to gain all this weight. I'm not doing cardio, like calories in, calories out. I don't know how to not do this. And I said, well, I had the luxury of like God taking a sledgehammer to my knee. So I didn't have a choice, but it was the best blessing because I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden my body was like, thank you for not beating me up.
Yep.
And so you're not alone. For anyone out there who feels like you are trapped in this cardio hell.
No,
Because
it's
that's
real.
what, or HIIT or everything. And you're like, why is it not working? Like, I will bring you to the other side. You're going to have to trust me, trust you, Lori. And like, there's a ton of people in our community who are exactly the same. And that's what's fun is that you get on chat groups and you talk and you're not alone. You know, we struggle. We all struggle. Like, I don't care what it looks like on the outside or like, oh, you know, Stephanie on social media looks like she has it all going on. Hell no. I mean, I figured out a lot of things that I do well, but there's a lot of areas too that I'm a work in progress and I'm growing, and that's so fun.
Yeah. I think what's powerful is just even us talking about this and you saying that, because I think a lot of people are really ashamed to say like, oh yeah, I was addicted to this. Oh yeah, I'm addicted to that. Or this absolutely is ruling my life. Or yes, I can't seem to get off this, you know, treadmill of hell, literally and figuratively. And
Some people will go on vacation for 3 days.
Yeah. No, it's real.
Because they trust their body. And
That
after
was
three days, they're like, oh, now I'm excessive. I'm going to come back and I'm going to be a whale, or I'm like, I mean, it's
my
true.
story. Literally, the reason that I broke my rigidity was because I went on a 30-day trip to Europe, And I did not have, and we went with a bunch of people who like I really
Yeah.
love and adore. And it was like we were eating dinner starting at 9 p.m. and my bedtime is 9. And it's like the first 2 weeks of that actually broke me. I was having this,
Sure,
you're
yeah.
going to think I'm psycho,
No.
but like someone's going to relate. I was in the room crying, like I can't drink anymore. I can't eat anymore. I need my bedtime. I can't be around these people. I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
I need to be exercising. There's no gyms. We can't go to the gym. There's no gyms, you
Right.
guys, where we were. There was no gyms. And like, I wanted to go running and people were like, you need to go, or we need to like be on these like, you know, excursions that we were planning.
That
And
left at 8 in the morning.
people
and you
were
get home at
starting,
2. Yeah.
they were getting annoyed with me. And my
Yeah.
husband was getting really pissed. And I got to this really ugly place. And I was like, I had to just say fuck it and surrender.
Yeah.
Or in all honesty, what was killing me more is when like people judge me or say things and they were starting to be like, what is,
And you
you're
probably feel
awful
like,
to be
and you
around.
also thought it's like, there's something wrong with me.
oh, for sure.
And you're miserable. And you're like,
Yeah.
I've got to figure out. I mean, Lori, I bet that was me.
Yeah. And I just let go. And I was like, okay, I'm going to walk. I'm going to eat whatever I want. I'm going to do whatever for the rest of this trip. And it's so crazy. I went back literally, I think I weighed like a pound less. And it was the first. Now, even if I would have gained weight, big deal. But I think the lesson that I needed then was like, oh, your body actually just wanted to like walk and have joy. Because I went all in. I was like, I'm going to enjoy the conversations. I'm going to enjoy the food. I'm going to enjoy being here. Like, I'm never going to have this experience again. Maybe I was.
Right.
But 30 days going all through Europe with your friends and you're acting
And
like
you're
a
in your head.
pissy baby.
And you're in your head because you're worried about being fat.
I just got so mad at
I know.
myself.
Well, of
And that's
course.
when I just broke. I was like, I can honestly say, I don't know if I ever have been fully present for my life before that. And that makes me so sad because I know that I'm not alone.
No. And how
I
much
think
brain
every
space that
fucking
takes.
woman is like trapped in her head. And, you know, some of you aren't, and God bless you. I wish I could have a brain transplant with you, but that's not how I was.
I think
And
it's so common.
I think everyone that I talk to, when we actually get into the dirty, it's like, no, I feel trapped by
Right.
this. And so for the first time in my life, I'm like, oh my God, I don't think about it at all.
Yeah.
At all. Like I really don't. I just like get dressed and I love how I look and I go out to eat and I love the date with my husband.
And you wake up the next morning and you're like, I'm not going to go beat myself
No.
up and run, off my diet.
No.
I think it's really, and that's what's interesting about peptides. And there's so many layers and levels to it that like, it's important to be able to talk about it, right? Because the mental component is wackadoodle. I mean, it's wild when you've lived this way for so long. And I think so many women and some men will relate to this of just like having to be so rigid. And then all of a sudden going like, I'm free. I can live like this. Because I remember too, when I was on vacation, so jealous of the women that I would just see at breakfast, enjoying the buffet.
Yep.
Oh, because I wasn't. Oh, I was
No.
running, or I was like finding like wherever I could, or I was doing burpees in my room, or I was like being like neurotic. And I'm like, why can't I just wake up? And like, I also didn't have the tools, Lori, to like put the anxiety somewhere else. Like the
No.
anxiety was so wrapped up in this control. And I just, if I could give the gift that you and I have found to everybody in that sense. And and I'm sad that like our culture or our upbringing or whatever wired us to be that way. I wish I could have all those years back.
I know. Same. But I do feel like now how purposeful do you feel right now? I feel so
Oh my
purposeful that I'm like, no, now I feel like, okay, if that was a giant, shit sandwich, which we know there were parts that were absolutely amazing, but
course.
like to feel trapped in your brain is a really tough thing of like, wow, I feel like I missed out on my life.
Yeah.
And if we can, help people with that, then that's absolutely
Well,
like
and
the
to
whole
be,
point.
to be seen. What's interesting too is just the world of like HRT, and all of a sudden like the black box warning has come off of it. So my OB is the head of Hogue. She's a hormone specialist. She's amazing. So she was still doing hormone replacement therapy with the black box warning, right? Just saying like, it's not FDA approved, but I'm choosing to do it. I'm treating a patient for what they need. She says now, she goes, no one can get appointments. And I've got 70-year-old women coming in being, I want hormones, which they can at 70 at this point, but they can get on peptides and other things. So she's sending them all to me.
Yeah.
But it's just a time too, where I think we have so much more resources, and women, especially, are saying like, I'm taking my health back into my own hands. Like, who are you to tell me I can't have hormones? And I mean, I think a lot of marriages would be saved if we had got to be on hormones and people would understand how good they can feel. I think we just, for so long, are used to feeling like shit. And I think all of a sudden, especially when a lot of our clients go on NAD and stuff with their mitochondria, they're going like, the women are like, oh my God, I feel so good. And, you know, and that's to me that like when I get so excited, because I was like, oh my gosh, like we have so many amazing tools that we can just get educated and you can understand your body and kind of work through it. Like you can have a beautiful, not even second half of your life, but just next chapter, whatever that looks like.
Exactly. I know.
And it's available for everybody. I think that's one thing too, that I want people to like, there's so much hype and misinformation on social media that they even think peptides are so expensive. Yes, some are very expensive, but others are not.
And some are not.
And you can have the inflammation leave your body and you can have your blood work look so much better and your cholesterol go down and all these things that all of a sudden you're going like, wow, I'm making different choices and I'm putting my money into my health versus into other areas where like, yeah, you don't need a crazy gym membership.
Yeah, totally.
You know? Or things like.
Totally. So we haven't fully touched on, you know, some people think a peptide is a GLP-1. Some people are labeling it in certain ways. And we're not going to deep dive into that on this one.
Yeah.
But real quick, just for people to know, like, what is a peptide?
Okay.
What can they help? Just a general idea.
What I think what people don't understand is that when we're born, they think we don't know for sure, like with over 200,000 peptides in our body. So our body is made up of peptides. Insulin, which a lot of people don't know, is a peptide. FDA approved in the 20s. That was actually came out, saved tons of lives. So really all they are is they're in our body, they're naturally occurring proteins. And so a peptide is just a string of proteins put together, and the length of the protein and how it's configured defines what the peptide is and what receptor it will work with in the body. So the example I like to use the best with this, because I think it makes the most sense. A lot of us are on thyroid medicine, right? A lot of us can relate to when your thyroid doesn't work, that you'll take something to help. Now, what you do when you take a T3 or T4 synthetic thyroid medicine is it does the job of your thyroid.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes when you're on this, your thyroid gets more sluggish. So I don't need to work. I've got the synthetic drug in my system, which a lot of the drugs we do take do the job of something in your body that's not working well. And then what happens also, you have all these other side effects, right? But you're like, well, I need this for my thyroid. So whatever else happens, so be it. I need this. My thyroid's not working. Peptide's the opposite. So instead of when you inject a certain peptide, let's say just to heal your gut, your body recognizes what the peptide is. It's an amino acid chain that's already in your body. So it's basically like a little nudge saying like, hey, get back to work. Start working again. Here's the support that you need to have your body start working again. So oftentimes you also have different supplements that support it. You need to understand what's going on in your body so the peptide works, but your body recognizes it because it's naturally occurring in our body. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. And so for everybody listening right now, I'm sure that we've got two different kinds of people. There are people who are like, oh my God, I need to know everything right now. I want to learn about it. I want to get started. I want to know exactly what loop is. And I want to do what you guys are doing.
Yeah. And we've given them a lot today.
We kind of like throw up. Well, we needed the foundation.
Yeah,
they needed to know all the things.
And they're probably wondering, like when they saw me on your social media IRLs, like who is this girl?
Yes.
And what's their relationship and what are they doing? And what is Loop?
Which you guys, we have partnered. I'm so excited to be a part of Loop, which is so amazing because also these IRLs are these incredible events that we are doing, which is incredible because Glossy gets to be there. I get to put Glossy out in front of this amazing
and I'm
audience.
Literally obsessed on the plane today. It's like my tool for deep-loading, honestly, and just like I drink way more water when I told you this in the beginning. I was like, I'm upset. And literally I love it.
Well, that's the key. And what we learned is that, why this is such a perfect marriage as well is because anyone on a GLP literally should be drinking a ton of water and getting their electrolytes. And that is what Glossy is. So it was like, wow, we can put Glossy in front of your people and your customers and at these events. And the exposure is absolutely incredible for Glossy.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited
one of
about
the
that.
issues, I know we talked about this early in the beginning when we were talking about our brands, is that like oftentimes when you are on a GLP, you just don't have a thirst and you don't realize. And when people tend to get into trouble, they end up because they're extremely dehydrated. And by the time they figure out they're dehydrated, they've been dehydrated for a long time. And so one of the tools that I teach with my clients, I said, put an electrolyte in your water because you'll be shocked how much more you'll drink of it.
how much more you'll drink, how much better you're going to feel. It's crazy.
I mean, your body absorbs it. And that's
Yeah.
what I love about Glycerin. I know that I'm absorbing the water and it's not just going right through me.
Right. Exactly. So you guys, we have partnered, like I'm literally a part of a Loop now in the Loop world. I'm very excited about it. So I can't
we're
wait.
seeing a lot more of you, which I'm
a
excited
lot
about.
more. And then also this is going to be a regular segment on the podcast.
Yes.
So I know you guys are already in love with Stephanie because if you're vibing with my energy, I know you're vibing with hers.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing this frequently. So today we dropped the foundation. Next, we're going to talk about the stacks that we're on, literally exactly what you and I are doing so that everybody can know. So stay tuned for that next episode. We'll deep dive into that, what it is, what it's doing, our exact experience on it. Like I said, we're going to share good, bad, all of the things so you can really, really understand this world in a way that feels very understandable. Because I think there's so much out there that can be really overwhelming.
What I think I'd like to share too next episode is that tips and tricks if your GLP has stalled, why it might not be working. And I'll give them just some free things to start working on. Because there's ways to get your GLP to work through a stall without really getting too high. Because the one thing that I'm not sure if the listeners, some of you might have, when you get too high, you get metabolically very challenged. And that puts you into a whole different set of issues. And so really what you and I work with when we talk about it, and it takes trust, is like the low and slow, but there's also a way to come out of it. So like if you are there, you're not alone for sure. And there's easy ways that we just tweak some little things to do to kind of get everything going again.
For sure. I love it. That's why I'm so excited about this. It's just all things optimized to make you feel so dialed in. And I know summer's coming and people are like, let me know all the things. So you guys, if you don't want to wait, you can also find out because you can text me. So you can text the word loop, LOOP, to 310-496-8363. So once you text that, you can also text a question as well. You can let me know what you're curious about. I'm going to text you back, literally, personally, and I can direct you exactly where to go.
And I'll give you a good discount to give them all.
We're going to give you a great discount. What are we doing? 15%?
Yeah.
Okay. We're doing 15%, you guys, which is insanely amazing for the peptide world. It's so awesome, especially on your first order. So you guys can go and text me the word loop to 310-496-8363. We also have the direct link in the show notes. If you want to go and check out what the offerings are too, you can go and check that out. But I absolutely want to make sure you get all of your questions answered. I can attach you to a coach. You can even book one-on-one with Stephanie. If there's anything in her schedule, which she books way out and she works with celebrities, just letting you know. But that's where you can get everything is below in the show notes.
Awesome. Absolutely. It's so fun.
So fun.
I know.
Well, here's to many more. Here's to many more on the series of I'm Obsessed. And I realize we said that about 100 times. So it's
because that's what happens.
It's a great show name for us because we are obsessed. And so we're obsessed with you guys. And we will see you on the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening. And if you loved this episode and know of someone else who is as successful as they are generous, please pass them on to me. It would mean the world to me if you help me get this cause and this message out to as many listeners as I can. So please, if you liked what you heard, it goes a long way if you take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review and share this with your friends. I'll be forever grateful. And until the next episode, cheers to your success.